The story begins on an ordinary day in South Korea. A man drives through a quarantine checkpoint near a rural area. The guard informs him about a small chemical leak, nothing too serious. Annoyed, the man drives off, not realizing how serious things really are. On his way, he accidentally hits a deer crossing the road. The lifeless body lies still as he drives away, but moments later, the deer twitches, stands back up, its eyes milky white and body jerking unnaturally. The infection has quietly begun. Meanwhile, in Seoul, we meet THANKU, a busy fund manager who spends more time in his office than with his family. He got call from his owner to sell all his trade of his company. His work consumes him, and his young daughter Suwon feels the growing distance. Despite his success, THANKU's personal life is cold and lonely. For Suwon's birthday, she has only one wish: to visit her mother in Busan. Her parents are divorced, and she misses her mom deeply. At first, THANKU tries to avoid it, saying he's too busy. But when he sees how sad his daughter looks, he finally agrees. The next morning, they pack up and head to the station to catch the KTX high-speed train to Busan. The station is busy, filled with commuters rushing to their destinations. Among the crowd, we see a variety of passengers who will soon share this terrifying journey. Sang Hwa, a strong, outspoken man traveling with his pregnant wife, Sang Kyung. A cheerful group of baseball players and their friends. Two elderly sisters traveling together. A frightened homeless man, trembling as if he already knows something terrible is coming. And Yeon-suk, a selfish and arrogant businessman. Just as the train is about to leave, a young woman limps onto the platform, pale and trembling. Her leg is wounded and she looks terrified. She stumbles inside the train just before the doors close. No one notices that her life is already slipping away. The train speeds out of Seoul, and everything seems peaceful for now. Suwon sings a song she practiced for her father, one she never got to perform at school because he was too busy to attend. Sekwu tries to focus on work, checking his phone, but guilt flickers in his eyes. Meanwhile, the injured woman hides in a restroom. She collapses, her body shaking violently as veins darken beneath her skin. Then, her body stops moving. For a brief moment, everything is silent, until she jerks up again, her eyes now cloudy and lifeless. Moments later, a train attendant opens the door and finds her. Before she can react, the infected woman lunges, biting deep into her neck. Screams echo through the train. The infection spreads rapidly. As bitten passengers transform within seconds, panic breaks out. People run down the aisles, tripping, crying, and shouting. Zombies multiply, filling one carriage after another. Suwon watches in shock as chaos approaches. Her father rushes to grab her, pulling her away just in time. Sang-hwa fights fiercely to protect his pregnant wife, using his strength to block the doors. Sekwu helps him close the glass partitions between cars, trapping the infected inside. Finally, the survivors manage to contain the outbreak in one section of the train. The remaining passengers catch their breath, trembling and confused. They checked their phones, trying to understand what's happening. News reports show horrifying scenes, cities under attack, emergency broadcasts warning of violent outbreaks everywhere. It's no longer a local incident. It's a nationwide disaster. Sang-hwa and Sekwu have a tense exchange. Sang-hwa accuses him of thinking only about himself and his daughter. Sekwu doesn't deny it. He's used to surviving alone, but deep down, he's beginning to realize that selfishness might not save them this time. At the next station, the train halts. They hear that the military is waiting at Daejeon, ready to secure the passengers. Sekwu secretly calls one of his business contacts, hoping for a safer route. He's told to use a special private exit, a route meant only for high-profile people. He doesn't tell the others, deciding to take Suwon there quietly.
When the train arrives, the platform looks strangely empty. The air is heavy, silent, and eerie. The passengers move cautiously through the station. Then, out of the shadows, they see soldiers standing still. At first, it looks like help has arrived, but as they approach, one soldier moves oddly, then turns, revealing his infected face. Suddenly, all the soldiers charge toward them. The survivors scream and run. Sikwoo grabs Suwon's hand and sprints through the terminal. Songhwa shouts for his wife to stay behind him as zombies flood in from every direction. The survivors dash back to the train, barely making it inside as the doors close. The train starts moving again, leaving the chaos behind. But not everyone made it. Some passengers are now separated in different coaches, with zombies in between. The group realizes they must fight their way back together. The true journey, the fight for survival, has only just begun. The train races away from the infected station, but safety is an illusion. Suwon and Sengkyung are trapped in a front coach, while Sikwoo, Songhwa, and a few others are stuck several cars behind, with zombies filling every carriage between them. Determined to reach their loved ones, the men arm themselves with bats and shields, wrapping their hands for protection. They know they might not make it, but they push forward anyway. Each coach becomes a battlefield. The zombies attack relentlessly, but the group moves with strategy and courage. When they realize zombies can't see well in darkness, they wait until the train enters a tunnel, using the brief darkness to slip through safely.
They finally reach Suwon and Seongkyung, reuniting in relief. But not everyone is happy to see them. In the front coach, the selfish businessman Yeon convinces the passengers that they shouldn't let anyone else in. He claims the newcomers might be infected. Terrified, the passengers side with him. They block the door and shout for them to stay out. Despite the desperate banging and pleas, the survivors are forced to remain in a separate compartment. It's a heartbreaking moment that shows how fear turns people against each other. As they try to rest, Songhwa notices a crack in the door. Zombies are still trying to break through. He sacrifices himself, holding the door shut to protect the others. Before he dies, he looks at Seokgu and says, "Take care of them, please." His death devastates everyone, especially his wife, who sobs in silence. Seokgu begins to change. The once cold businessman now feels responsibility not just for his daughter, but for everyone around him. His heart softens. He's becoming the father Suwon always needed. Soon, the train stops again after colliding with debris on the tracks. The survivors must move to the front engine to stay alive. But Yeon-suk's selfishness strikes once more. He throws people to the zombies to save himself, one after another, including the train conductor who tried to help everyone. When they finally reach the front, the train derails in a fiery crash. The survivors crawl through the wreckage, surrounded by flames and screams. Seokgu, Suwon, and Seongkyung find another small engine and climb aboard, hoping to escape. But Yeon-suk appears again, stumbling toward them, infected but still conscious enough to beg for help. Seokgu tries to push him away, but during the struggle, Yeon-suk bites him. Realizing there's no escape, Seokgu throws Yeon-suk off the train and quickly checks his wound. The bite is deep. He looks at his daughter, tears filling his eyes. He knows what's coming. Gently, he guides Suwon and Sungyeong into the front car and locks the door behind them. Suwon cries, begging him not to leave. He smiles through his tears and tells her to stay strong. As the infection begins to take over, Seokgu steps outside. The wind blows across his face as he remembers the day Soo-on was born, the tiny hand that gripped his finger. With a faint smile, he lets go of the world, throwing himself from the moving train before he can harm anyone. Soo-on screams, her voice echoing through the empty tracks. The train continues to roll forward, carrying her and Sung-young toward Busan. When morning comes, the train finally reaches a barricade outside Busan, now a quarantine zone. The two survivors walk slowly through a dark tunnel, unsure if they'll be shot or saved. On the other side, soldiers spot movement. They prepare to fire until they hear something. It's Soo-on. Through tears, she begins to sing the song she practiced for her father, the same one from the beginning. Her soft voice fills the silence. The soldiers lower their weapons, realizing the two are human. Finally, Soo-on and Sung-young step out into the light, alive, though forever changed.
This movie shows that even in the darkest times, compassion and sacrifice are what define humanity. It reminds us that love, whether between a father and daughter or between strangers, is stronger than fear. When everything falls apart, kindness is what keeps the world alive.